I told myself I'm done making travel guides, but then I went to Bolivia, and I thought to myself, if I didn't share this with you, I would be absolutely selfish. So, get your altitude pills, get a jacket, much better. Now, to get things started, we're gonna be flying to the world's highest capital city, La Paz. La Paz isn't actually a capital. Nobody cares. Literally 10 seconds off the flight, and I can feel so much lightheadedness.
I do feel so dizzy.
I like the airport staff here, they're very nice. Welcome to Bolivia.
Del altiplano hacen sus obras.
Dios
me lo bendiga.
Gracias.
Yes. Con todo corazón.
Gracias.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, de corazón.
De corazón, yeah. Good morning. That's literally how short the sleep felt. It has to be one of the loudest hotels we've slept in. It's up there with New Delhi. And here we are, beginning our Bolivia trip the best way to do it. This is the tram car that runs through La Paz, and one of the really cool things about it is that it's not for tourist attractions, it's not just for viewpoints. This is actually how people commute to work every day. So we're basically on the local bus here.
It goes so fast.
Today we're traveling with Bolivia Millonaria. Bolivia Millonaria. And this is our guide. This is Evelyn. Evelyn will be showing us around the country for the next 3 days. And also, we've invited a friend here that we met through Instagram. This is Andres.
Hey guys.
Welcome to the video.
Welcome to Bolivia.
Yes, thank you. In most countries, you know, the rich live on the mountains. Not here. It's actually the opposite because the preferable living conditions are lower down where it's a little bit warmer, there's more greens. Another thing that's really interesting that Evelyn was explaining is why everything is brick homes and kind of looks unfinished.
Well, they have a regulation that when you don't paint your house and you don't finish your house, you pay less taxes. No, it's a little bit silly, but well, it's true.
Everyone up on the mountain, for the most part, has not painted their homes. And welcome to the south. We made it.
Yeah.
And our driver's here. Hi, this is Johnny.
Un poquito.
Well, we've got a bit of a communication barrier between Johnny and I, but luckily my translator's here.
Hello.
Salteña?
Salteña.
To all 10 of my Bolivian fans out there, this one's for you.
But wait, I want to try to eat this.
Shake it, you bake it, you bite it.
Top part. No so much, not so much. Like this, look.
Okay. Okay.
And then you start sipping.
Oh. Andres says that whoever spills first pays the bill. It's on me. I've made a mess. Very, very delicious. Nice little coffee stop. Bolivia is actually quite well known for its coffee beans. It's so good. My favorite thing about it, it was only $2. Just outside the south of La Paz is this incredible set of landscapes here. Look at these crazy rock formations. This area has an incredible name. It's called the Valley of the Moon. There's very little gravity here. Kathy will demonstrate.
Actually, it's called like that because that's what they told me. I don't want to take responsibility. Neil Armstrong saw it and he compared these formations with the ones from the moon, and that's why they gave him this name. Yeah.
What's going on here?
What we see here is things called tables, like mesa in Spanish. Let's say you need to open a store, you buy the stuff. The lady's preparing the whole mesa for different purposes.
So it's like a blessing.
It is, yes.
And so do people light the llamas on fire?
Yes, but the llama, especially when a llama is pregnant of 2. They use the one that is the dry. They don't kill the llamas.
This isn't your typical market. This side of La Paz is known as the Witches Market. And so you'll see here a lot of things that might make people uncomfortable. like, as I kind of showed you, llamas that are there for sacrificial purposes, but it's a very unique side that I don't think I've seen in any other city before.
All of these liquids that you see here, they have special purposes, no? So sometimes they use it, a little bit, a drop of something, or the ladies who want to cast a spell of love on you, they put a little bit of this.
Really?
Thing.
What do you have to make your man marry you?
Don't tell Kathy where the love potion is. What does it say?
Elixir del amor. It's the nectar of love.
Please give me 4.
Swear when you first met me, you must have had them fall in your coffee. It's very sweet.
To make him go and don't come back and don't come back.
In a lot of ways, this street here reminds me of Cusco because you've got all your vendors. Playback
First
clip of last
Christian
time.
went to Peru.
Playback clip. Trying on some of the Peruvian sweaters. But this place is way quieter. Like, there's not nearly as many people here in La Paz as there are in Cusco. La Paz has been a very surprisingly cool stop. This right here is a cholita, the indigenous people of Bolivia. And see that beautiful top hat? It is actually fashion that came over from England. There was a lady that brought these extremely small hats that were meant to be for the children, but apparently the children didn't really grow to like them that much. But one day, for whatever reason, it became super in fashion, super a la mode, super hot for the cholitas to wear these little top hats.
So if I was a married woman, I would wear the hat like this.
Ooh.
If I was single, I would be like,
Hola, señorita. Muchacha. Guys, no one listens to traffic lights here in Bolivia. Apparently they're pretty much useless. So they have zebras to stop people. Oh! Keep up the amazing work, guys. As you guys know, running a travel channel can be extremely expensive, and I couldn't do it if it wasn't for my sponsors. And today's sponsor is one of my favorites, Storyblocks. I have been using Storyblocks now for over a year, and they're one of the game-changing services that allow me to get copyright footage from all over the world. If I need a shot of Easter Island, if I need a shot of an airport, if I need a shot of a kid crying, I don't have to make the kid cry anymore. I can just use somebody else's footage, and I don't have to worry about any claims or any copyright issues. One of my favorite uses for it is drone footage. As you guys know, it's becoming increasingly challenging to fly drones in most public spaces, so being able to go onto their platform, find copyright-free drone footage to help tell an aerial story of the area I visited is so beneficial. I don't have to worry about the risk of flying my own drone, or maybe I just straight up forgot my drone. These are the benefits of having somebody else's footage at your disposal whenever you need it. If you're ready to get started with Storyblocks, then check out the link down below. Thank you, Storyblocks. Very cool. Perito. Hola.
Hola.
Eleni, we just met here through Andres. Somehow we've ended up here tonight because of you. Here we are in one of Bolivia's and La Paz's top restaurants. This place is called Gusto Restaurant. Everything's produced here locally.
Cheers.
Coming in.
This is larvae from the Amazon.
It's crunchy.
The heart of the palm tree. 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗦𝗢𝗕𝗢𝗙.
I just wonder
So good.
LA BB who we running with. Yeah.
One of the best things about liking spice and Kathy not liking spice is that I get to eat her food, but she can't eat mine. Cheers! Salud! This is the most delicious piece of pork that I've ever had. I don't know if it's the fact that I've had my 4th glass of wine, but I love this. I love this for me.
Fine dining.
I will never forget that pork belly. For the overall experience, this is definitely a very cool spot if you're looking to go for a very memorable meal here in Bolivia. I loved it. At first, I thought that La Paz was just going to be a layover destination, but really quickly I realized it was one of the main destinations itself. If I could go back, I would have added more time just to stay in the city, but it was time to head on to our next destination with a quick 45-minute flight and a very early morning. It was time to go off to Uyuni. Now, I'm not going to go into extreme depth on Uyuni in this video because I've already made a dedicated video for that experience because it was truly one of the best travel experiences of my entire life. If you want to see that video, it's going to be ka-ching! Or you can go down into the description. Anyways, watch it after, it's unbelievable. The main experiences of Uyuni that I will not be forgetting are going to be the reflection. Of course, that is caused by the water that's left over from the rainy season. We went during the dry season and still managed to get that incredible out-of-body experience of having the reflection. The other thing we saw was the train graveyard, essentially a bunch of leftover locomotives. We saw 𝗦𝗦𝗘𝗢𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡 Island, which is essentially this little tiny island in the salt flats with tons of beautiful cactuses on it. We were in such a rush, we didn't even stop for a photo there. If you go to the salt flats and don't take dumb videos and photos, did you really ever go? And lastly, we stayed in a salt hotel, where a lot of the main fixtures in the building were all made out of salt. After spending 24 hours in the salt flats, it was time to go off to our next destination, and with that, a new driver was waiting for us to take us on what would be about a 7 to 8 hour drive. We had a few incredible stops here on this journey. I'm not actually sure some of their names, but we had this place with these amazing rock formations. About 2 hours later, we stopped at another destination with more incredible rock formations that kind of looked like planet Mars or Uranus. Like the planet. I haven't seen the other year anyways. But best of all, as we were driving, we saw so much wildlife. We saw wild llamas, alpacas, we saw the picuñas, and surprisingly, they even had flamingos. This is probably the last place I would have ever pictured a flamingo being, but for some reason they also like Bolivia. Late that night, we arrived at our destination and we spent the night at this really beautiful, quaint, locally run hotel. As you guys know, right now we are crazy high up, like we're way above 12,000 feet above sea level. And with that are coming some little minor complications. First of all, my nostrils feel like they're solid, like it's so hard to breathe through my nose. I would probably recommend bringing like some sort of like a nasal spray to help it keep it moist because it just dries out. And the other thing you should know is that the lack of oxygen makes it really hard to sleep here. I don't know why, but last night I had 6 hours to sleep and I maybe slept 3. This is 3 days of that. I am exhausted. And early morning, hours before sunrise, we were in the car heading off to the next destination. So we got about a 2-hour drive. It's right now minus 10 degrees outside. It's freaking freezing. After driving for 2 to 3 hours through what looked like planet Mars, I'm talking dry, barren terrains, weird, strange red rocks, and distant, gigantic mountains, we finally arrived at the Red Lagoon, also known as
Laguna Colorada.
It's apparently minus 17 outside.
El carro y se congeló.
Guys, the landscape that I'm about to show you is gonna blow some minds here. Get ready for it. Okay, let me just quickly grab some stuff out of the trunk here. Welcome to the top of the second viewpoint here at the Red Lagoon. And I don't know if you can see with that lens, there's a reason it is called the Red Lagoon. ¿Por qué?
Okay, it has that pink color because there are some minerals in the water and a combination of light, the sunlight and wind makes a special reaction, and that's why it gets that very pink, pretty color.
But the best thing is not only is the lake red, but there's also like hundreds and hundreds of neon pink flamingos just chowing down in there.
I have never seen so many
food.
flamingos.
There's hundreds of them.
Do you know why it's my favorite?
Because of the flamingos.
No.
Because they're pink?
Yes, because pink is my favorite color. Oh my god.
All too quickly, we packed our bags, packed our equipment, and got back in the car and headed off to our next spot, which would be
Sol de Mañana. Wow.
You ready to take a little dip?
Yeah, skitty dip.
And the first one's in is a melted
Catty soup.
Basically, it is a volcanically active site, and with that comes some serious dangers. This area is completely open, there's no fencing, and unfortunately, people have fallen in the past and never been seen again. You will instantly melt the moment you hit that liquid. Really scary, it's beautiful, it's powerful, and you need to respect it. I highly recommend checking it out. We got some amazing footage here. This is absolutely freaking crazy. I am just blown away by the fact that no one else is here. Nobody's talking about Bolivia. I've never seen this photo on Instagram, and hopefully it stays that way. I mean, I would love for you guys to be able to come here and experience this. This is a gem, a hidden gem, and I'm so glad we made it here. We packed up the drone, we got in the car and told our driver to step on it because we were getting really close to noon. Okay guys, so this is a little stressful. Basically, we are going to the Chilean border and we have a transport waiting for us at noon. That's in 1 hour and 10 minutes. It takes us about 1 hour and 20 minutes to get there, and we still have one more stop. So we're kind of scared that they're gonna leave without us. There's no cell phone reception to contact them, but we can't possibly leave without going to the next place. And with that, he drove real quickly for the next half an hour until we reached these beautiful natural hot springs, also known as
Termas de Polques.
We got like 10 minutes to go swimming. Nothing helps ease my stress like a day at the spa. And the thought of getting left at the Chilean border in the middle of nowhere after paying $130. All right, here we go, guys. Let's get a little dust off there. It is time to take a 2-minute swim. Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh. It's actually the natural heat from the earth here that's heating this pool, heating the pool over there. These little 2-minute moments that count. Rapido, rapido! It's nice, eh?
Yeah.
Canadians, being Canadian.
Yeah, just a Canadian day. It's nothing too bad. I mean, typically I'd wear a t-shirt and shorts in this kind of weather.
2 degrees.
Yeah, it's fine. Yep.
¿Me puedes grabar a mí? Enfrente de
We're gonna be
personas.
chilly and chilly. So in our final stretch here, we're going through the 𝗦𝗓𝗕𝗙𝗘 Desert, and one of the amazing things is the mountains around this area look a lot like Rainbow Mountain, which is a very famous Peruvian mountain that has all those beautiful stripes on it with different colors, from the white, the yellow, the red. Because we're in such a big hurry, I might not get a proper way to thank you, so I just want to say it right now, Andres, well, Katy does all her clothing up. Thank you so much. He has been beyond helpful.
He's the best.
Yeah, it's been insane. Like, we couldn't have shot so much in such a little period of time. If you guys want to check out his stuff, it's gonna be all right here, link down below, etc. Gracias, amigo.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully you guys will be back and see more Bolivia.
And gracias, Evelyn, for helping us on this trip. Gracias.
De nada, de nada.
You would never have thought this was the official customs office, but this was the last stage of passport control. This is where you were legally required to get a stamp in order to enter the country of Chile. Katy,
Yeah.
did you pack a light sweater? Because I heard it's gonna be a little chilly. Thanks. We arrived at 12:15, not a single other car in sight. We started freaking out because we had no idea how we get a ride. Luckily, it turns out our driver was just half an hour late. So we're not the late ones, he's the late one.
He's the late one. He should give us a discount because it's freaking expensive.
We should have left. And guys, don't forget, leave a like on the video, please. Please. But that right there is how the trip ended, guys. It's an incredible 3-day itinerary that we had that should have been 5 days. I wish we had an extra day in Uyuni. I wish we had an extra day in La Paz. And in fact, we needed an extra day everything south of Uyuni. So really, we're looking at what should be a 6-day itinerary here. And one thing I should also say is not to do this itinerary in reverse order. The reason being is that we're actually going from lowest altitude to highest altitude throughout this video. And I've heard of some extreme cases where when somebody does the opposite order, starting off in the highest altitudes, they become extremely sick. And there's literally nowhere in the world I'd rather find myself sick or hurt than in these remote regions of Bolivia with no cell phone reception, no medical centers in sight. Let's talk about pricing on this trip. Now, Katy and I partnered with a tour company, and I'm really glad we did because they were the ones that organized every single step of the way for us. And Bolivia is one of those places that, yes, you could probably get around La Paz without a guide, but overall, the places like Uyuni and the south of Bolivia, you can't do without a driver, without a guide. It really takes that local expertise, those connections, and I actually think that you need to have a driver by law to get through Uyuni. So overall, these are the things that makes Bolivia a bit of an expensive trip. With us, we used a company by the name of Bolivia Milenaria, and they are the ones that organized the entirety of the trip. From the moment we stepped into La Paz to the moment we left for Chile, they took care of all of our drivers, all of our food, our accommodation. We didn't have to lift a single finger. They had it all taken care of. One thing I will mention is we did have some pretty awesome meals in La Paz, but as we started becoming more and more southern and more remote, the food definitely declined in quality, and overall the food was just average to sometimes even subpar in some regions. From my experience, I really don't see food as a huge selling point for Bolivia, but I'm ready to be proven wrong on my next visit. In summary, price is high, food is average to you're not gonna sleep much because of the altitude and because of the early mornings, you're gonna leave exhausted. But why do you put up with these things? Well, because Bolivia is one of a kind. And as far as adventure travel goes, not luxury comfort travel, adventure travel, it is one of the best destinations I have ever seen. So that's where I'm gonna end today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave the video a big thumbs up. It helps the video out a lot. Like, I really, really thank those of you that leave those comments, leave those thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm, so thank you. And if you're new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe button. Many more videos like this to come. Maybe not travel guides, because like I said, I'm kind of done with travel guides. I'm sure there's still gonna be a few more. And guys, let's get lost again in the next one.